Is it cold there in Melbourne?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was chilly today.
By our standards. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your standards are wimpy standards.
It's currently 2.9 degrees.
Yeah, that means nothing to me.
It's about, what, that'd be about 5 degrees
Oh,
Fahrenheit, I
really?
think. Something like 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
I think you're off your rocker.
Two, I'm going to look it
It's
up.
more like 30 something. Like right now, it's 63 Fahrenheit.
Maybe, yeah.
For us, for us. I'm not even looking up Australia.
Degrees to Fahrenheit.
This is going to be riveting for anybody who chooses to watch this
Oh, there you go.
recording.
Oh, 32 degrees. So it's 64-ish.
Oh, so it's the same here. It's chilly to me too, because it's later June and I'm expecting it to be warmer. I think my friend Rochelle in Oklahoma was, wearing pants. It's supposed to be like 90 degrees and she was all bundled up when we were on a call last week.
Uh,
Everyone's weather's all wonky and weird.
yeah, it is. It's all over the place.
Is it even real
Actually,
anymore?
that's a good. Oh, hang on a minute. Well, that's
Well,
the
that
air.
was that post you made. That was that post you made about
Hmm.
when the seasons are
Hang on one
reversed.
sec.
You'll know
Sorry,
things
I'll
are
be back in.
happening.
Sorry, yeah, I'll be back in one sec. The
So you were
two heaters.
freezing out your wife, is what you're telling
Well,
me.
there are two heaters, but the other heater, you need both on a cold morning.
Yeah, don't
So yeah,
freeze out, Arna.
won't freeze
Um, yeah, you've been
out.
really quiet. Oh, so back to we'll talk about you being quiet in a minute.
Yes,
Back to the weather. You had done that post with me on Instagram that when the seasons are kind of inverted or reversed, you'll know that things are happening in the physical.
yes, that's right. Yeah, in the end times, the seasons will be reversed. Was something I was told. Jesus, God, that was. I think I was even a teenager. I might have been a teenager. I can't remember if it was teenage or 20s, early 20s, something like that.
Was it by the
So,
Arcturians?
well, yes, probably, but not directly in the way they showed that. They've always been there in my life from the start, but they've stayed in the background. They didn't show themselves. So probably, but I'm not sure. It was 2016 onwards was when they were interacting with me as
As
the Arcturian.
themselves and directly.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
right. So if you got that message years ago, it's likely them, but they hadn't really presented themselves to you in that way.
No, that's right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's them and Tom, and there's a bit of a group thing with the guidance I've had. So same with my wife. She just calls them the guides. I think a lot of people around the world have a similar experience,
Yes.
which makes sense because of the nature of the human race, and we are the center of a massive galactic federation, and in fact, an interconnected network of galactic federations throughout the universe that are all interconnected.
Right. So our friend Anne has her guides, and lots of people I know have their guides. And one person I know would say there are no guides, it's your higher self and it's whatever. But when you say that, Arna has her guides, you have like a group thing going on, like you explained. Is Are everyone's guides their own, like for them specific? Like your guides aren't the same ones Arna hears from, aren't the same ones Anne hears from, aren't the same ones that I don't hear from, but I'm sure they're there.
Oh, down on it.
I know they're on it. I know they're on it. So I got some sort of like I'm a lead wall, which, lead, the whole story around lead is a big lie anyway, but you know what I mean when I say that.
It, It's
They
hard to
had
get a
us all
sentence
they
out.
had us all frantic to remove the lead from our homes because, oh my goodness, the lead protects us from the DEWs that they're forming against us. Oh my goodness, everything is
Mhm.
shocking.
Oh, gee. Yeah, that's well the scale of the plan. But yeah, I mean everyone's guides because you know everyone has a sole purpose. Oh,
Hi, Pepper. Hi, sweet girl.
oh,
Yeah,
she's
so everyone's
lovely.
guides are unique to them. And
Yeah.
it's right. And then I can't remember if it was Kelly Kolodny or Pam Gregory or David Clements. I can't remember who said no, it was a Dolores Cannon reel. And she said everyone has a guardian angel who has been with them from the start of their soul and will always be throughout. Yeah?
Mm. Hmm.
One single guardian angel other
Yeah.
that's separate than the guides? Like, do you have any understanding around that? Because I think the
Well,
rest of us are all confused.
yeah, I mean, well, you know, this lifetime you have a sole purpose, which gets back to your soul having a purpose, which gets back to the original point the universe came into existence or the reason for it and why and how. Like, where does free will fit in? The whole thing about self-aware life and God and the nature of free will. It's there for a reason because the all it is, if you know, and again, Tom made the comment, totality of understanding is beyond our comprehension. So we're dealing with concepts that go beyond our ability to really get a handle on. But um, yeah, your soul. That the all it is wishing to experience itself, you know, that which knows all. It's one thing to know everything you are, but to experience it directly is how you have the living experience of that potential. So God knows every potential avenue that your moment you're in now, the history behind this moment you're in now, and all the possibilities it can take, and then which one is most likely, etc. Can see all of that, but until it's lived, but you live the trajectory, so you have the direct experience of what I call the golden thread, where you go through a whole series of like nodal choice points from the moment you're born to the moment you die that relate directly to the reason you're incarnated in the first place. And that goes all the way up to you as a soul, right at the beginning of the universe. We created you, self-aware life. You created us. We can look back on our source. You need the two. You need a source and you need something to look back on it to have a source, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Self-aware life makes God because there's a relationship now. As soon as you've got two things, you have a relationship. So the first relationship, two things was the all it is and self-aware life, which create each other. So the entire universe is a product of that relationship. So there's a purpose behind it. So each soul, the whole point is to go from separation back to unity. So the universe itself is one conscious energy that's separated out into, think
Mm,
of
unthinkable
the
amounts.
amount of souls we're talking
Yeah.
about in the universe. Through free will, every single individual soul's purpose is to go all the way through Hitchhiker's Guide to the galaxy and come back to unity, come back to you to
So,
choose. So in each lifetime, you choose to give your free will back to God. And ultimately, if you can do that all the way through every incarnation as a soul, you come back to God. The all it is comes back
so in
together.
this physical, right. So in this physical lifetime, when you have chosen to wake up and give your life back to God, that means everything before you have also chosen to give your life to God, and this, or everything before, all the lives before were working its way up to this particular moment of when you give
Yes.
yourself over to God. Okay. Okay. Because a lot of people talk about Like if you're here
Both.
now, you are like,
Yeah.
but if we're all one being, like you're powerful and you're strong and you've gone through it all and you've been the villain and you've been the victor and you've been the, lived in a ditch and you've lived in a palace, right? But then if you think about it, what about the souls who aren't here now? Are they just like really slacking? Like what? Nobody ever talks about the ones who didn't get here. You know what I mean? I know that brings me back to totality of understanding is beyond your comprehension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, there's a there's a role. Think of the astrology wheel. It's like a circle, and it's divided up into the 12 segments. So each one is like, um, you could say it has a set up. There's qualities. There's a balance. Like Pisces, for instance, there's a positive and a shadow side.
Yeah.
There's pitfalls you've got to watch out for, and assets that you've got to master. And there's this sort of like comfort zone, discomfort zone balance thing between the two. So it's the art of learning about the negative pitfalls by experiencing them. You understand how to stay in balance because you've lived through each cycle of the astrological wheel. So you can think about as a soul at the beginning of the start of the universe. To come back to completion, you need to go through all 12 of these areas. So each lifetime is about the area you're in now. Let's say you start at the Aries. I'm just using the astrology thing as an
I know.
example. It is based on the same principle. But
Yeah.
you start in the Aries dynamic range of experiences, and you need to get, as a soul, you need to live through enough lifetimes within all of the elements to complete that stage, and then you move on to the next one. So as a soul, you're in complete development of starting at the start of the universe all the way to the end of the universe is about a whole series of experiences, and then each lifetime is you have free will. So you can have to come into many, many, many lifetimes to get a handle on that one part of
Right.
several sides of Aries. There might be, let's say, for argument's sake, 24 different aspects within the Aries dynamic that you need to get a handle on one lifetime within each of these 24, come back to yourself within it, and then that becomes part of your direct experience as a soul being. You've
Right.
experienced
So that's
directly
why this is
certain
a
elements of God.
remembrance.
Yeah, dark and light, the relationship to you. So you've experienced the all that is in certain theatres. So you might have to come back to multiple lifetimes simply because I mean, think about how many people understand what we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So how
yeah.
successful do you think they've been in getting the sole purpose they were born into?
Yeah. Yeah,
And that's
not
been one of the big problems with planet Earth. But
and the
fundamentally,
reincarnation and the bottlenecking of souls.
that's what it's
It
been about.
yeah, right.
Those are the
Okay.
interference
And
created.
kind of trapping us here in the lower density. But then that brings me back to my question, and then I have another one. What about those souls who aren't, how is it possible that not all the souls in the universe can fit here now? And what didn't they do that didn't make the grade?
That's a good question. I don't know all the answers to that, of course, but
I know, I know.
I can say that it's a whole mix of things because the big thing with the last 12, 15,000 years has been, or since the collapse of civilization collapsed all around the world about 12,500 years ago, the fall, collapse of civilization, which is a mirror of your mental structure, how sophisticated your thinking is, how much I think of the Renaissance period. So the mental construct, the masculine principle was in almost its highest form since Atlantis.
Hmm.
And that's it. They reflect it. If you grew up at that time in those places, you're exposed to concepts and the whole theatre of life that's way expanded to, say, someone in the Middle Ages. So, of course, your mental capacity to receive life, you grew up in a world that you were introduced to all sorts of artistic, a whole range of life. Whereas in the Middle Ages, for instance, as a serf, you weren't. So your intelligence is a mark of that. Well, civilization reflects back to you how sophisticated you are. And then you bring that sophistication back into civilization. They feed each other. So when it collapsed, there was a lot of fear. Everything went dark and shut down and became very small. So we basically lost our connection to how we created that civilization and what it was all about. So that
So,
created a karmic loop
right.
because of the fear and the way we were manipulated. There was a lot of, I mean, everyone's family system is riddled with trauma that goes back thousands of years if you really look at it. And that was done deliberately. That's the bottlenecking of souls. If we, here in the lifetime thing, if you come into a lifetime, it's one thing to not live your purpose. But if you interfere with the free will of other people around you, you can't
Got to
just.
answer for that.
Exactly. Accountability is, and the sacred masculine is being held accountable is a, you know,
So the sacred masculine, so you referred to the time of the Renaissance as a masculine time.
well,
And
not, it was feminine, but the sacred
right.
masculine was in the right relationship to it.
Oh, okay. So that's
Whereas the ordinary
why,
now isn't.
right, right. But it's the female that's rising now, as I understand it. Everyone's talking about that. But basically, what that's doing is bringing it into balance. So
Yes.
right now, it's the male and the female, and right now, this is what's happening.
And it's better to think about masculine and feminine principle. So again, this is one of the things, those are the interference have been, that's their skill, the
Mess
snake, the
with.
forked tongue, the snake thing.
Yeah.
That's what the
Yep.
analogy is about, is
The
putting a spin on
inversion.
everything.
Putting a spin
Like
on everything you think and feel and putting a picture to the thoughts instead of the principle, instead of the idea or the metaphor or the yeah.
yeah, you don't
So
relate to it.
that's also why a lot is being said to a lot of us who carry this grief and this, I don't know, sadness, despair, whatever we're carrying, but we're carrying it consciously, looking at it, working through it, feeling it. But there's a lot of talk around basically like a meme will say, you are the one your ancestors have waited for. So that's basically us.
Pretty exactly, it is us. Yeah, Gen X is the marker point of the pivot of the paradigm shift, the massive, like the world we think we're in, what humanity is about 12,500 years old, and it's nothing to do with reality. What was here before that, and our connection to it, that's reality. So
Yeah.
this bubble that we've been in, um, being broken. There's a point where there's a lot of preparation that has to go into that moment where it flips. Like when you're studying trigonometry as a student, I mean, whether you have or not, it's difficult,
Sure,
and you've
sure.
got to stare at the same problem. You've got a few, and you've got the elements of the answers, but you can't quite connect them together without
Mhm.
going through the process of contemplating it. You've got
Yeah.
to actually hold it all, and there's something about doing that. There's
Yeah.
something about doing that. Without doing that, that moment where it all goes, oh, now I get it. You have this epiphany that you didn't do it. This is the thing. You can't do the epiphany. You can only be available to it.
To it.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and now that's fine when you're talking about trigonometry, but when you're talking about our whole concept of what a human is and what reality is,
Yeah.
that's a lot of preparation and there's a lot in the way, like people actively going against the help they're asking for,
Yes.
actively stopping the process of
So,
holding all of the elements
yeah.
while so that they can draw the epiphany in when it's so emotionally charged. The last thing you want to go from the problem to the solution. And
Yeah.
if that's not happening, then it's all not real. That's the problem Galactic Federation's had, the White Hats have had, everybody's had, is really our awareness of what we're actually experiencing and how much we fight against what we're actually asking for. We have
It,
lost touch with the fact that life is art and what that actually means. So this pivot point is about to happen, and it's happening in Gen X's lifetime. Gen X was the marker. X marks the spot.
X marks the spot, right? You said that before. And And that lends to the power of direct experience.
Mm.
Yeah,
The only thing that works.
the only thing that
The only
works.
thing that
That's
actually
why
exists.
the only thing that
Everything else
actually
is in your
exists.
head.
Everything else is in your head. That's so funny. Because you've told me that since the moment we spoke. Direct experience, and I regurgitated in comments and conversations on calls.
That's why Ramana Maharshi and Satsang are true north, reversing the inversion. Satsang. That's what it's all about. Direct experience
direct
of the truth of who
experience.
you are in this moment, which is
Uh,
all one
Okay,
thing.
so that brings me to my other question. When we were early, just a little while ago talking guides and source and coming from creator, we are the creator experiencing itself always in all ways. And you saying God, the source, knows every moment you're in and the potentiality for
Correct.
all of it while you have free will.
Yes.
So why do we all think we're doing it wrong? I don't mean to speak for everybody, but I it's it's when I'm in flow, it's absolutely magnificent and the synchronicities just keep pummeling me and I can feel the difference. But being in flow in this dense reality, I'm absolutely certain I've wasted my day today, right? Like I'm absolutely certain I'm doing this, that, and the other thing wrong. But if it's all God, there's no wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
I have the free will to have done something differently. So it's really hard. It's really a
yeah.
challenge rather to undo the lifetimes of conditioning and trauma to make the right decision in every single given moment.
Yeah.
It's like a hero's journey. It's like, what?
Massive. Oh, it's massive. And like all heroes' journeys, what they thought they were getting into, if you speak to the person they were when they started the journey and ask them what was about to happen and what they thought and blah, blah, and then talk to them at the end, whole other story. And that's the reality. That's the reality of a paradigm shift. You go in with one lens to see it all through, and it's the lens that's the problem. So the journey is all about getting the lens out of the way so that you're not filtering reality out.
And
And
we
that's why
have
every soul on this planet has a relationship to the mechanism that created that problem somehow. That's why we were all born here for this time. So
Okay, but what
throughout
about the
history,
ones who weren't? What,
who
like I
went,
said, they're
well,
slacking. What are they doing? Like, what's their problem? Why couldn't they do that? Like, you know what I mean?
uh, yeah, I think they're all laughing with us right now.
Well, I mean, you
You know,
hear about it. If you're here now, you're a warrior. You've lived so many lives. Well, what about that poor fella who hasn't and who didn't make the cut?
yeah,
Like, I just have to think about the underdog all the time. But there is no underdog, so it's
no,
like it's this, it's this infinite loop.
it goes around and around. But look, I mean, there's this group called those are the interference, and their whole what is it? They interfere with free will. Free will is the weapon they use. The strategy is to weaponize life against itself by weaponizing self-aware life, free will. So instead of choosing to come home, we choose to create an opposite, the illusion that there's an opposite. So this whole thing with heaven and hell and darkness being the realm of Satan and the realm of, we fill it with, well, that's those of the interference. That's what they want self-aware life to do, because in reality, darkness is just an absence of light. So this is the thing with direct experience and indirect experience. We have this indirect reality we live in where we put those concepts without knowing it into reality that we've got
Yeah,
to watch out with each other because people are bad. Life is
right.
bad. There's a lot of ramifications. You don't have to be You don't have to be a Mormon or a full-on religious person to take the damage that's been done by religion to the human psyche and the reason behind it with darkness and evil and the inversion is all of that stuff. You don't have to be in those directly, but everyone's affected by
Affected
the
by,
knock-on effect of fear.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone's life is about fear. So a lot of people, this group don't do the work directly. They get us to do it. That's how it has to be that way.
yeah.
They have to do things. There are rules to the game. We have to be allowed to choose
The
what they
wrong
can.
way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, so there are a lot of people who have been in politics for the last 12,000 years or have been in society at levels where they've turned a blind eye or actively been conduits to it. Like they've instead of living the sole purpose, they've lived the purpose of those of the interference.
Right.
And by doing so, the knock-on effect,
Sure. Sure.
they've
And
said,
some of them know they've done it, and others have no idea they've done it.
yeah, well, that's it. I mean, it's not all, it's some of the most powerful, transformative um, moment is when someone who's gone that far into the dark system, as a soul, they come out through the life review, they see the glaring gap between what their intention was when they were born and what they actually created through their own life. Because that, again,
Oh, yeah.
every action creates an, when you act, you create a reverberative impact on the reality around you. And that's what you got to take responsibility as a soul in your next life. You got to take some
Right.
live a life that mitigates the impact you had in the previous life. So if you wake up in the middle of, if you wake up to the truth of who you are in this life,
Right.
and in doing so, you break the karmic link that you've participated in throughout history, whatever how many
Yeah.
lifetimes you've had on this planet. I saw an interview with someone who was they were a trans transsexual, transgender. They've been through hell. They've gone right into the deep state's whole narrative around it because that's you suppress someone, then you give them a voice, woof, they go right the other way, and you can control
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
They're not rational.
You're
And he
right.
saw through it. He came through the other. He
Yeah.
realized, oh my God, they've set up a system where our personality constellates around the pain we
Yeah.
hold. It doesn't heal anything, it makes it real. He realized and he started trying to talk about it with other people. So
Yeah.
that has more power.
Because he's lived it.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
someone in a Muslim community seeing through the lie that they've been pummeled with because
Yeah.
now they're living in Europe.
Yeah.
They're realizing how it's the complete opposite of what they're told.
Right.
Those people aren't the evil ones. Look at what we're doing to them.
Yeah.
You know, and then believe me, there are people throughout Islam, all around the world, who are part of this immigration wave who are going to wake up. They're going
Wake
to
up to
turn
that.
around and stop and pull out. And that
You
has a
see that
powerful
there's
effect.
been puppet strings, seeing that we've all been on the ends of the
We've all
strings.
been in the same, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one problem they've always had is at some point they had to mix us all together and make it one decision. COVID was the decision and the strategies with immigration and what they're trying to do to destabilize society by using conflict between all the groups. The
Yeah.
problem is if they lose control and we all cotton on to the fact that hang on, wait a minute, where's
Right.
this all coming from,
Well,
really?
right. It's not
And
from
that
my
is
neighbor or that guy down the street. It's,
yeah, people
yeah.
are starting to become aware of this third party that's never been seen before, and it's happening globally. And that was
There,
always going to be a problem for them.
on a very current and physical level, there was a reel I shared recently, and it was a young man. I think he was from the UK, and he moved to Chicago, and everything he heard was from everyone was keep your eyes on the ground, don't make eye contact, stay away out of those neighborhoods. So the guy was a runner, and he ran in all areas of Chicago, like every neighborhood. He had it all mapped out. He had a time frame. I think he ran to every single neighborhood he shouldn't go to, he was warned against, he heard things about, ran to every single one and had the most magical experiences with everyone in that neighborhood all day long. Kids, older people, military, young, like he spent the day in all the areas of Chicago that he shouldn't be in and found out that it's just a lie. It's what they tell us. I'm not saying there aren't any unsafe aspects of everywhere we are. I mean, everyone's angry and confused right now. I'm
Mm.
not saying that. And of course, be smart. But he actively set out and he debunked the whole thing. And it was a wonderful video. It was a
Yeah,
wonderful story. It's a wonderful ground level example of exactly what's been done to humanity for 13,000
yes.
years. It was a
Direct
beautiful
experience.
example. Yeah,
Direct
yeah.
experience versus indirect. Yeah.
Yep.
And again, if you're willing to do that, you're willing to say, okay, the mental filter that that indirect story creates may not be true. So therefore, you're willing to see through it. You're not willing to let it just make all the decisions for you.
No,
And
no.
that's one thing that's happened a bit where you could say the big split between people is all the people with the filter, the mind control filter, that aren't
Yeah.
willing to leave, to let it go
Yeah.
because they would have to feel too much that they don't want to feel if they did. So they're holding on to it. So they're filtering everything through these stories and
They'd have to
climate
look
change,
directly, yep, they'd have to look
sex,
directly
love.
into the deception of all of it. They'd have to look directly into it. And that is unsettling shit right there.
Very, very. I mean, the whole thing's based on managing fear and self-doubt from childhood, where it's so overwhelming. It's a tiny little child with a massive world. And then if you have fear and overwhelm on that scale, that's what happens. You just don't have the words
No.
to assign to it, so you don't
Yep.
feel it consciously in that way. But think about a 3-year-old suddenly getting pulled into you're not right as you are.
Yep.
And now the whole world is they become too aware too quickly on a in a way that we're not really designed for at that
Yeah.
age. Not at all. And that runs you for the rest of your life. That moment
You've told
runs you for the rest of your life.
Yep, you've told me that since we met, that what I'm doing is undoing and releasing the energies that got stuck at all those ages in my development. As
Throughout your
that
life.
2-year-old who left the house, right, and went up the street, as that
Yeah.
7-year-old who had a terrible accident and wasn't given medical care or concern, as that 11-year-old who was yanked out of her home and moved into the middle of nowhere. Like you've told me, and that's me because that's my experience. I'm not dwelling
Yes.
on me, I'm sharing. That's for everyone.
Yes.
Everyone who is awake and consciously working on this is releasing the energy that got stuck in those periods of time we did not have the language for or the
Mhm.
understanding, the capability, and and basically it just took us over.
Yeah, that's it. I
Right.
mean, then your life becomes about managing this past and perspective that your experience of it came from. It comes
Yeah.
about managing all of that instead of
Yeah.
just living the purpose you were born into.
Right.
And that's the whole point of mind control. That's how they keep us in a holding pattern, was to get us into that mode of being
Yeah.
so that we don't live the reason we came. And now everybody's divided into two camps, the ones who are upholding the false reality because they don't want to go back there. And there's too much there. They don't have the emotional intelligence or the capacity, and they can't see the writing on the
Emotional
wall.
maturity.
They want to edit
Emotional.
out that there's anything to look at all because it's that feeling they've been managing and the story they've told themselves about how
Quite
they're
a
not that
split.
anymore or how life is this now and X, Y, you get sold a story about what success looks like but it never really touches that feeling, that love deficit, that the moment you pull
No,
out of yourself,
nothing
creative.
can.
Exactly. So we've got to maintain this illusion, this story. And as soon as you allow a part of the story to be doubtful, now it's to
Going to be
let that in,
unraveled for you.
all of it. Yeah. And there's something in people that know that.
Yeah,
So
well,
there's an
that's
absolute.
why you trigger them because you're
Yeah.
no longer playing that in that game. You're no longer in their field. I don't buying the lie. You're no longer buying the lie. And so your light, which is simply awareness and consciousness, and is triggering them because they're not doing what internally they know to do.
Mm.
But it's a hard thing to live. It's almost, I don't know what's harder to live, the awakened ones who are completely shunned and alone and in pain, or the unawakened who are battling something they don't understand. I don't really know what's worse.
Well, well, God directly said it's better for you. This transition that everyone's going through is better for you if you choose it, and that's why. Because yeah, okay, it's hard. It's hard to turn around and face, okay, there's a problem here, and feel like you're the only one doing it. Um,
Right.
but it's even harder to have that problem hit you like a freight train
Right. When you didn't seek it
because we,
out or you didn't ask for
yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
like the
Better for
whole
you if
human
you
race
choose
is.
it. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
we're all on a train track,
Yeah.
and some people are pointing at the freight train coming straight at us and
The
getting a
rest of us are
handle.
jumping off the track.
And they keep pointing at it. Look, there's a train coming. And no, there isn't. No, there isn't. And so we're sort of extricating ourselves from the situation. But either way,
Yeah.
that reality shift is going to hit everybody. So that, like I've said time and time again, they're going to have to catch up fast. And I know which category I'd rather be in
Yeah, me too. Me too.
because
Obviously,
it's not a
or I
yeah,
would
it's
have
not a small
backpedaled.
change.
It's what?
It's not a small change. It's not a small
No,
change.
no, it changes absolutely everything. And I'm so thankful for having been woken up. Even with the 7 years of hell, I am so grateful for having woken up. But, it's a hard thing to live in the physical realm, even when you know it's not real, and be treated as such. Like we are walking around going, oh my God, I am battle worn.
Oh, look, I mean, I've been offline for a few days, and that's
I know.
pretty much
Oh,
where I've been
speaking
too.
of which,
Yeah.
did you hear? I didn't mean to take away from you talking about your experience. You've been offline. Did you want to say something else about that?
I'm just reiterating it. Yeah, we're all pretty burnt out as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've been,
Yeah.
but like I was saying in that sort of trigonometry example, we've
Yeah.
been kept in a holding pattern where all the elements of the massive scale, the implications. Like people have been brought in from different areas, like say COVID or they're experiencing corporate, or there's lots of different catalysts that all interconnect. So whatever brought you in, what it all connects to, because it's one group with one agenda and it's all part of the same agenda. So everything is that, well, no matter what your catalyst to come into waking up was brought via. Maybe you were in the military, maybe you were in corporate, maybe you were just dealing with COVID lockdown, all sorts of different reasons for it. But they're all connected. So you go through a process of having these elements brought in one at a time and interconnections happening. And that's massive. So we've all been holding the scale of the change inadvertently by doing that. So
Yeah.
that's vital because of the processing of the emotional energy that's been stuck within the human race, just like
Yeah.
an individual. That had to be there. We had to be able to start releasing all the stuck emotional energy that would be pulled up through our awareness and out. Now, that
Yep.
looks like all you can see
Yeah.
is what that energy makes you feel.
Darkness
Everything
and
is,
discomfort. Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough to hold, but it isn't the
Yeah.
truth. Now,
Okay.
without that process, you've got to because of problem reaction solution, you've got to dial back the reactionaryism. You've got to have people in situations that would have triggered the crap out of them 5 years ago. They're a bit over it now. We're all over it. The
Yeah.
feeling we've got, we're all like, well, that's an asset when you start going through the sort of reality shifts that are going to come in, that already have started coming in and are going to just keep increasing. We can actually process them because we can sit and watch and hold it.
Yeah.
Whereas people in our family who are resisting everything are going to, it's
They're
it,
resisting everything. They're
yeah,
they're attached to all of the geopolitical news
yeah,
out there and what's
yeah.
happening, and I have no idea about any of it. And that is why you've told me all these years it's the best place to be. To
Yeah,
just,
it is the best place for that reason. You've got a lot less in the way, and the less in the
yeah.
way that when that train hits everybody, it's just like it disappears into a hologram. If you understand,
Yeah.
because it
And
doesn't need to whack you in the face. You've already
right.
that's
Right.
there's no
You've
face
already
to whack.
welcomed it. You've faced the whacking of the face. You
Yeah, well,
faced it
you've had
already.
your,
And
the
you're
face, the
so
person,
you've
persona.
had that done. You've loved and cried and screamed your way through it. So you're able to hold the hands of everyone who gets smacked by the freight train. And you
Yeah,
welcome them. At the moment you get the validation for everything you've believed and felt and been is the moment you don't need the validation any longer because it's like, welcome, we've been waiting for you. Thank God. Right.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and
But
because you got the presence to be able to hold someone by the hand standing next to you. Go, it's all right. It's okay. It's
it's
not
all
as
right.
bad as I
I
thought.
got you. It's all
Yeah.
right. I got you.
Even though
Yeah.
you're living through it the same way they are, in a way,
Yeah.
because this
In
has
a
never happened
way.
before
Good.
in the
Right.
history of the universe. But you're also lived through enough
Yes.
similar. You know,
Yeah.
you've
Something.
had your the mask that you put
You've
on.
had
You've
your
had it
dark night
stripped
of the
off.
soul. You've
Yeah, you've
had the
gone.
false you strip away. You've let the relationships go, the behaviors go, the toxicity go. That's why you have less in the way. Even though
Yeah,
you're both experiencing the same things, they have so much more to go through because you've welcomed it openly and consciously. Yeah,
yeah, and
which is
it's
no
really
fault.
that.
Everyone's a mosaic. Everyone's a piece of the mosaic, like you have told me millions of times too. So there's no wrong or right. There's just where we're all at. But
Yeah,
I know you have to get ready and go.
yeah, I've got to
How
go.
much time do you
Yeah,
have?
pretty much now. I've got
Oh,
15
crap.
minutes
We
to get to
wanted to
the
talk
school.
about CERN. Did you hear that CERN is shutting down for repairs on Friday? And do you have thoughts
Oh,
on that?
I didn't hear that, no, but I know that that's one of the targets, one of the core targets. Like the satanic kind of network around the world. I do know
Mhm.
CERN's one of the core targets, so that's very interesting, isn't it?
Well, Official Akira did a live today. I happened to jump on. Sonia brought the CERN thing to my attention. I had no idea, but people are talking about it. And some people believe that at CERN they're opening portals and allowing demons in, and other people think that they're shutting it down because they're messing with timelines. I don't know about any of that at
Yeah.
all. I just don't
No.
know. And
Look,
I
yeah,
just
I
thought
mean,
if you had like a gut, and when you say CERN's a target, are you saying
for the white
what
hats, for the
to
lights,
to do away with it?
yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
because it has nefarious origins or yeah, or okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I
So,
think
okay.
personally, the network, it's think of it as like an inversion of the pyramid network around the world. So the Giza Plateau and all the pyramids around the world that just activated. But really at the start of this
Yes.
year, yeah. So
Yeah.
that what they've been trying to do is create an energy grid that's kind of like the inversion of that or the opposite of that. And CERN, I think, is a critical part of that
Okay.
because the whole
Okay.
point is to get the shadow darkness into physical form and then bring it into this world
Yes.
to get us to make it physical enough to actually manifest physically.
Yep.
And that's Steiner
Not
spoke
gonna
about it.
happen.
There's been a few people, this shadow realm, well, that's the whole thing with satanic ritual. What are they trying to do? The darkness is an absence of light. So, we'll make it into something. We'll create self-aware life, make fear, which is a mental construct, make them create all the things they're afraid of. So I think
Yep.
CERN had a big role in that in
Okay.
some way. It's like
Okay.
it's a portal or a way to,
I wonder what's shutting it off on Friday for repairs is though. Is it the White Hats doing their thing? I mean, at this point it feels like it's the White Hats doing everything. Even if it looks god awful and horrible, it feels like
I think you can count on that reality personally.
yeah, I know, I think so too. I think so too.
I've got
I
to
fear nothing. I know you've got to go. Okay. Mwah, I love you.
love you.
Mwah.
Speak in a minute. Bye.